Hi everyone! It's been a long time, hasn't it? How are you all doing? And as the title of the video suggests, today I am reviewing Beyond Sjögren's Healing with Sjogren's Naturally course. So Jeremy, the founder of Beyond Sjögren's, he and Paloma do one-to-one sessions for people who have Sjogren's. And then they decided to put out a course. When I was having my mold toxicity, I think it was then, Jeremy and I were talking about my protocol and stuff, and he asked me if I would like to review the course and let you guys know what I think of it. And I thought that's a great idea because I have had a couple of people ask me about the course, and I didn't know, so I was like, I don't know. I've only seen what everybody else sees. Sounds good. So I said yes. But at the time, I was very ill with my mold toxicity, and then I had my move, and I had all sorts of things going on. So it really took until I moved for me to look at it properly. And I went through the course just to see what's it about, how is it done, what's the information on there, is it helpful, would it be helpful for people with Sjogren's, what would my viewers think? And I wrote notes, and at the beginning I found myself writing notes on everything, but there was so much information there that I couldn't help but write it down, even if it was just for myself. Yeah, there was a lot of information, but it wasn't overwhelming. Let's go into it. So the course is run by Jeremy Guth, who is a registered nutritional therapist and a functional medicine practitioner, and he is the founder of Beyond Sjögren's, and also run with Paloma Miquel, who is a certified life coach and has a degree in psychology and also nutrition. And together they've made this course. Now, this is my opinion, this is my review, so this is all I can go by, right? You can go on their website, you can contact them, you can ask questions, and you can see what they say, which might be different to what I'm saying. So I was thinking about, so who would this course be good for? The course is for anyone who has Sjogren's, who is having symptoms, and also would like to know more about Sjogren's, and also would like to be healthier, but as someone who has Sjogren's, because Sjogren's is an autoimmune disease, as we know, and there are lots of other autoimmune diseases, but what might work for other autoimmune diseases or particular autoimmune diseases, they're not all the same. And so Sjogren's is not the same. You can't treat it the same as other autoimmune diseases. So this is all about somebody who has Sjogren's, and it's really specialized for someone who has Sjogren's particularly. So I would suggest this course for somebody who has Sjogren's, doesn't know much about it, is not getting help from anywhere else, and has uncomfortable symptoms. Start from there, and then obviously if you're really suffering with Sjogren's symptoms and things like that. So pretty much I recommend this for anybody who has Sjogren's. I think even if you don't have symptoms at the moment, usually people who have Sjogren's will have some symptoms. I know people who only have dry eyes and dry mouth symptoms. I know people who just feel unwell and that's all, and they don't really know what's going on. I know people who just have pain. I say just, obviously these are all big things. But there's, and then I know people who have everything, every symptom possible. So I think, that range, it's just good for, this course is good for anybody who has Sjogren's. Now, bear in mind, I have had one-to-one with Jeremy. It wasn't a full-on, that I didn't have Paloma as well, and I didn't have it for as long as normal people have a one-to-one. But I had a one-to-one. It's just because I didn't need certain things, so it was a bit shorter. And bear in mind that with the one-to-one, my Sjogren symptoms are so much more well controlled, and I became so much better from very early on. It was this whole thing, like 5 days later, I didn't have any fatigue left. I didn't have any fatigue at all. And there's videos on all that. I'll put the playlist below in the description for people who don't know about Beyond Sjögren's and don't know my story with Beyond Sjögren's. And you would have seen me crash at times. I'm not saying I haven't crashed, but my crashes have been a lot shorter. And the ones that have been shorter than before Beyond Sjögren's protocol, and the ones that have been longer have been because I have either pushed myself way beyond, because there's still limits, you know, still Sjogren's. So I have pushed myself way beyond what my limits are, and my pacing is day after day of, you know, just pushing myself in every way. Or there have been underlying reasons which I didn't know. But I'm okay now. I had the protocol, I did what I had to do. But anyway, that's a different story. So my point is, I had a one-to-one and it worked really well for me. Saying that, I would still, had I known about this course, I would still do this course. And I went through this course quickly because I just wanted to know what it was about to tell you guys. But now I wish that I had gone through it week by week, slowly. But then you guys wouldn't have had it. You guys would have had this review in 5 months' time, and that's not possible for a reason that I will let you know in my next video. So here we are. So yes, I recommend the course for me, and I'll tell you reasons why. But first, let me start with the course format and support. So what's great about the course, it's paced. Yeah, the program runs for 5 months, and you have the lessons, and the lessons get released every week. That's kind of the aim. And what happens is that when you go through the lesson, so the lesson will be whatever the lesson is on. So for example, let me look at a lesson so I can give you an example. So we've got the Healing with Sjogren's. We've got the welcome course and guide. Lesson 1 is Understanding Sjogren's. For example, the first couple of lessons are like, you know, what the course is about, what is Sjogren's, looking out for your symptoms, little exercises, and then lesson 2 will be the fundamentals of healing, and then it goes on, and then there's healing diet, then there's implementations, there's effective supplements, even like supplements for when you have a crash, what to do when you have a crash. Anyway, so yeah, you have the lesson, and then there'll be notes with the lesson, there'll be like PDF downloads. It just depends on what the lesson is about. I'm just trying to think if I can find one that has, yeah, I mean, there'll be external websites, podcasts, apps, information, notes, but like everything is so, I can't think of the word. When I used to work in the financial industry, we used to say bespoke because it's specifically for that person, but I'm trying to think what, I don't want to say bespoke. But it's really, they've really thought of everything. They really have thought of everything because they have done the pacing really well. They have done the giving information, you know, for someone who may have fatigue, for someone who may have brain fog, it's done really, really well. And then also the information they give is a lot. Like, let me see if I can find, for example, the food one. So there's a PDF that you can download or have on your computer or print, which will have all the, let me find it because it's probably even more than what I'm going to say. For example, Healing with Sjogren's Guide and Cookbook to help you heal and improve your Sjogren symptoms. again, this is based on somebody who has Sjogren's. It's not going to work necessarily for, someone who has something else. But I just want to tell you, like, how many pages. Here's the contents. General diet guidelines, healing Sjogren's plate, breakfast, protein, mains, sides and salads, sauces, dressings, components, snacks, treats, desserts, additional guides and resources. So all those things, there's a lot of recipes in there. There's a lot of information there. There's what to avoid, what to limit, what to definitely include. And then, even at the bottom, I think it's in this, there's the whole list of low FODMAP. There's best sources of different things like zinc, iron, all that. But hold on. Replacements of things and herbs, and there is so much food additives to look out for, every single one. Like, there is so much good information, what foods to watch out for, the useful things to have in your kitchen, what things to replace if you can't have certain things. It's really comprehensive. Sorry, the light. It's really, really comprehensive. Did I have the light on in here? Yeah. And like I say, it's not, it's like almost 100 pages or something. That was page 74. I don't know. But, and they don't expect you to do everything in one go. Like, basically saying, do not think, right, I'm going to take everything out of my kitchen, I'm going to eat everything like this. It's like, start slowly, start with one thing, then another thing. It takes time, and that's why it's a 5-month course. And that's why you have a week on each lesson. And then, so you have the lesson, you have the resources, you have the information, you might have a tiny bit of homework, and it really isn't anything major. It might be thinking about, writing down and thinking about how you do something, or how you could include something and things like that. And then you have a Q&A every single week, so that if you have questions on what you have seen on the course, which will be videos, it'll all be in video format. It will be Jeremy talking or Paloma talking, and so if you have any questions, you note them down, and when it's the Q&A every week, you will be able to ask those questions. And there is a group of you, whoever is doing the course at the time. It is a private group, a private community. You also have the community page where you can talk to each other, maybe share a recipe you've tried. Or the thing is, I didn't get to do the Q&A, and I didn't get to go on the community page because I was just going through the course quickly just to see what it was about. And I really wish I had been part of it. I know if I had asked Jeremy, we would have done that. For me personally, I would have loved that, because all throughout the course, I kept thinking, I really feel so supported, which I did as well in my one-to-ones. I did as well there. I feel so supported. But with the course, I'm also getting extra information. It really is like being at school. I'm getting so much more information. And in fact, I got a couple of things that were, I've forgotten what I was going to say, but like priceless to me. They were really, really important information that I couldn't find anywhere else. We didn't talk about it in my one-to-ones. And for example, why not to eat eggs? I have a video, I'll put it in the description below, but it's a bit of an embarrassing video because I had really bad brain fog, and I don't think I was making it clear why I thought you shouldn't have eggs. And I didn't know that much information about it. I had only read this particular thing once somewhere, and then I couldn't really find more information about it. It definitely was not on Google. I couldn't really find it in the limited scientific things that I could get hold of. And Jeremy explains why you shouldn't eat eggs poof. I mean, it was amazing to know why exactly. And I really wished I could put it on here, but it's part of his course, so I can't. But that was really important to me. I was someone who ate a lot of eggs. Just watch that video. I ate a lot of eggs, and I stopped when I read, what I thought. But it's more than that. It's very well explained. Jeremy explains it. Anyway, now I've realized I'm allergic to eggs anyway, so but yeah. And then there was other things similar to that. I had no idea. I can think of these two things that were really important to me and that made it worth. I didn't pay for the course. He asked me to review it. He asked me to go through it, but I would pay for this course. And maybe in the future I will, to actually do it properly, to have those weekly Q&As, to have the community, to go through things slowly in my time, like week by week, to write everything, to really do it properly. Yeah, so the course works that way, that you have the weeklies. And also, let me just remember how long you can have the course access to. I think it's a year, but let me just tell you the exact in my notes. So I'm going to be quick because they keep drilling and I keep having to stop, and I won't have enough time to keep doing that. So this is the notes I wrote, which is some repeat of what I've said, but maybe it'll be better for you guys. So course format and support. Pacing. Lessons release weekly. You must mark a lesson complete to unlock the next. So you can go at your own pace. Designed to reduce overwhelm and allow practice and reflection, and that's really helpful for people who have fatigue and brain fog. And I think that another thing I'd point out is that if you live with people, I would tell them, hey, I'm doing the Sjogren's course for 5 months, so I'm going to need some time to put some time aside to watch the course lessons, read my resources, have a look at any resources that's been provided, and start implementing some things. So some things might start looking differently, shopping lists, lifestyle, just different things. I would definitely say to myself, this is like going to school, but it's much more paced, and you know, it's not that much, but you still do need to put some time aside to watch, look, think, absorb, put into practice. The length and access. So the program runs for 5 months. The video lessons and resources, they're 12 months. You have access to them for 12 months. An extension is possible if obviously you have good reason for why you couldn't complete it within a year. And the Q&A replays are available for 6 months. So like I say, not everybody will be doing it on a weekly basis. Everybody will do it at their own pace, and you will have the resources, the Q&As for 6 months and the rest of it for a year. Say you are doing it weekly or not, but say if you're doing it weekly and you have questions, if there's small questions, you can even email Jeremy and Paloma then and there. But usually they'd prefer if you could note down the questions and ask them in the Q&A, because it's only like in a week's time from your lesson. It's a private community. The Q&A scope for understanding and implementing the course. So it's not for any medical advice or for family members to join or anything like that. It's specifically for that lesson. So you have 15 lessons in all. I'm just talking about what I felt at the time. I had said each lesson includes aims, overviews, key takeaways, drilling again. Hi guys, I'm in the kitchen because the noise there was just terrible and I really want to get this video to you. So let me just get my notes. Where are they? Okay. So I'm going to start again with what I was saying because it was just going crazy there. So I had written some notes. Each lesson includes aims, overviews, key takeaways, and it's really brain fog friendly and great resources. And the reason why I say it's brain fog friendly is because I get brain fog and at times, and I can get overwhelmed as well with information. And I found it, some lessons had less and some lessons had more. And then when there was more, there would be 2 videos. So you'd watch one, kind of take that in, and then when you're ready, watch the second one, like it may be on a different day, so that you can take it all in and pace it. And also, what I really found helpful was most of the time, I think definitely Paloma did it every time. I'm wondering, I can't remember if Jeremy did as well. Like she would actually have it in writing and so what we covered, actually I think Jeremy did it as well. So, you know, what we covered, this is what we covered. So if I missed something, I'd be like, or if I wanted to just have a checklist of things, I'd see at the end of the course everything that was covered. And then, you know, more information about it as well. There'd be resources. Like if you want to know more about this, we've got this, or watch that video, or if you need help with that, look at this app. Also things like there was one app which I still haven't started, although I did use the link and I'm logged on. Like that app, because it was through Beyond Sjögren's, you got a year free with that app, which was great. Yeah, so for example, there were some things, this is really, and I found this really interesting. Like I say, sorry, I'm trying to lighten this up a bit. Like I say, I was going through just seeing what the course involved, if it was helpful, really helpful and worth it for people who have Sjogren's and need help. So I was just zooming by, but I was writing all the notes and I was screenshotting a lot because I couldn't like write all the notes that quickly because like I say, I was trying to zoom by so I could make this video for you guys and let you know about it. But even though I was doing that, there were times where I just slowed down. I thought, you know what? I want to hear this. I'm just going to slow down and listen to this. And I found myself, yeah, like slowing down and listening to some things. But other things I would just whiz through. And like I say, even though I wasn't doing it in the weekly paced way, I have actually changed certain things in the way I do them because of the course. And they're really like important things. Like I'm really looking after myself even more in terms of what I'm exposing myself to, what I'm some changes I'm making. And these things are not things that the things that I have implemented are not things that I didn't know about. I knew about these things, and I never really, I'd kind of half do some of it and have to, but after hearing it through the course, it just kind of went in and just became like, yeah, I shouldn't do this. It's not good for me. I'm cutting this out and I'm doing it this way. And it just stuck. And I am not the kind of person that is good at sticking with things. I'm kind of self-diagnosed ADHD now, and I really do kind of do something for, you know, I can't stick to things very well, but I have with this course. I'm trying to think, because, you know, obviously everything has a positive and a negative. So I'm telling you all the positives, and I really want to talk about negatives. But unfortunately, I'm not really getting... Okay, so let me think. Okay, so for example, this one lovely lady asked me about the course when I hadn't looked at it, when I didn't know about it. And she said that she has done a lot of research herself. She knows a lot of things. So she doesn't know if it's worth doing the course and paying for a course, because she already knows a lot, but she's still not feeling great. And For someone like that, I would still say yes, do the course. And in fact, I'm going to message her and tell her, because she asked me this, like, I think, you know, when of course was first out, and I said, I don't know anything about it, you know, I just know as much as you know. But now that I have gone through it, I would definitely suggest people who do their homework, have been able to find so much information out. I would guarantee that you would still find things that you don't know, like I did with a couple of things that really, one of them, like the egg one. But yeah, like there are a couple of things that I definitely wouldn't have found anywhere. Also, at least for me and a few other people that I know, quite a few other people that I know, when you first get diagnosed with Sjogren's, there's not so much that a rheumatologist can do. And people say, you know, they've got great rheumatologists sometimes. I haven't had that experience. Well, I have had nice rheumatologists, but they can't do anything. Yeah, they can put you on drugs, which Beyond Sjögren's are not against that. They want to work with your doctors, rheumatologists, GPs. It's not one or the other. You can work together. But sometimes when people are diagnosed with Sjogren's and there's no help other than medication, and maybe that's not working, or you're not tolerant to the medication, and you don't know enough about Sjogren's and you don't know where to start, that's when this course is really, really good, because it tells you all about what Sjogren's is and how you can help limit the symptoms and feel a lot better. The last time I went to my rheumatologist, I went to the rheumatologist, and he was the head guy. I'd only seen him once years ago, and anyway, it was such a funny, and had I not had Jeremy with my one-to-one, or if somebody would have had this course, you wouldn't find it funny. But because I have help, I found it funny. So I went in there, and he's like, "Hi, how are you? He kind of looked at me blankly, really, and kind of wondered why I was there. And I said, well, I'm here, you know, because I have Sjogren's. He's like, yeah. And he's sitting there like this, and he says, yeah, we just don't know what to do with it. We just don't know what to do with it. I felt sorry for him. I actually recorded the whole thing, as I always record them, and I haven't listened back, but the image, I didn't film him, I recorded the voice of the image of him like that. And I said, look, I know you guys can't do much, but yeah, and that's why I'm really glad that I've got this functional medicine practitioner, and who's really helped me. And he's like, oh, that's great. I said, but, you know, I wouldn't mind checking my levels and seeing how active it is. And also I had at the time had some eye issue, and I said, you know, could you look at my eyes? And I haven't gone to the optician for a while, but could you look at my eyes and make sure? And he was great. He did like 52 blood tests, and he said for me to go and see him the next month. But unfortunately, I was unwell with nausea from motion sickness, and I couldn't make it. So now I can't go till April. But but I could see all my results anyway on the apps, on the hospital app. Anyway, the point is that a lot of times rheumatologists who are only counting on medicine are a bit lost. And I did tell him about other medicines that are coming out, and the trial in the same hospital that was going on, and I don't know, he didn't seem that, like, he didn't really seem to believe like that would work. I don't know. But anyway, the point is that for some people like me, who the rheumatologist can't be helpful as well, this course would be great. So let me see what else I've got in my notes that might be useful for you to make a decision of whether you think this course would be for you or not. I sound like I'm being biased, but I'm only going by what I got out of the course. And like I say, I wish I could do it properly. I felt like throughout it, I felt like, my hand was being held. I had all the support, I had all the information, I had the time, I had the backup. If there was an issue, I could email. If I wanted more, I could be in the I mean, everybody has to go, it's good to be in the Q&A. I could email. I would hear other people's questions and discussions and put my questions across in the Q&A. I would have all these resources that some you really can't find anywhere else for all these reasons. And also, even at the end of the course, it's like, course finished. No, Jeremy still goes through what you can do from here on and what support there is, and you're really held and supported. And I think that, first of all, psychologically, that's really important for us to know that we're being listened to, cared for, looked after, and then physically being made better biologically. That's another thing. There's some biochemistry, a little bit. Like Jeremy and Paloma don't talk to us like we're children. They talk to us intellectually, scientifically, but they make sure that it's in bite size, and they make sure that they don't do too much of that, but just enough for us to know how things work and why some things are good and bad, and why we need certain things or don't need certain things. So I really, really also appreciated that. It's an intelligent course that anybody can understand, and anybody can understand, but you're not treated like an idiot, like how maybe some doctors can make you feel. They may not tell you everything, or they may not explain things. So let me see what else. I think I'm just gonna look at my notes. Okay, so it's not lifetime course because it encourages you to complete it, so that you don't think, I've got it forever and I can do it forever. This has the time limit, so that you complete the course. But if there are good reasons why you can't complete it within a year, then just write to them and give your reason, and they can do extensions for sure, as long as it's like a good reason. These were just questions I was asking myself, and I never answered them. My biggest wins, I think I've kind of explained. I like the support, I like the information, I like the fact that I'm healthier, and I like the fact that I am better. I say that as somebody who would be, I already had a protocol and implementing that. Another thing I got, which was really helpful, was, so I have a protocol. I have certain supplements and lifestyle things that I do to keep my Sjogrens at a good, as good as I can with my Sjogren symptoms. But also, Jeremy talks about what to take when you're having a crash. And that was interesting to me because it was different to what my daily supplements were. And I found that useful. And I also found just how they help implement how to have all these things ready. And I think also Jeremy and Paloma both together, they really give you everything that you need, all the resources that you need. There was so much that Paloma helped with implementing things and thinking about things and how to do things. And because things like meal preps, and when I hear that, I'm like, oh God, who has the energy or time for that? But then the way they help you implement it is like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do this, I can do that. and where to get help, when resources of where to get help from. It's very useful. But there was something else I was going to say. Also help with how to deal with people, relationships. Just covers everything, honestly. They really have done a good job. Frustrations. Did I have any frustrations? No. But I did find throughout the course I had 2 questions. So if I was doing the course properly, I would have asked and I would have been answered. So that was that. Can't remember what the questions were now, but they were just something I didn't quite get, so I wanted to ask. Yes, I was thinking, like, has anything changed since I did the course? And yes, like I said, I have put some things into practice that just natural to me now. Now, thinking about who this course may not be for, I think Jeremy and Paloma would tell you if you ask them, so they would have the best reasons who it wouldn't be good for. I think once I heard something like if you have like specific allergies or something and maybe you can't follow some things. But then when I went through the course, they actually explained how to kind of say if you have intolerances, what to do with intolerances. But allergies are different, and also intolerances are good to find too. So all you would have to do is message Jeremy and talk with him and say, hey, do you think that I should have an allergy test, or I would like to have one, and then he would arrange it. Now, I'm not sure about pricing, but all I know is even with a one-to-one, obviously if you're going to have an allergy test, you have to pay for the allergy test. So I would presume that that's what would happen. So if there are any extras, they are if you particularly want to be tested for specific things. And you can still do that while you're in the course. You can just email and say, hey, you know what, actually I'd like to be tested for this and that. And Jeremy would put it together for you. But you would obviously have to pay for the tests. Yeah, tech-wise, I'm thinking it is really simple. I was given a link. And then from that link, I logged in. You can do it. I've done it with my iPad, and I've done it with my phone, and I've done it on the laptop at different times. So you could use any of those. Any downloads were really easy. I just clicked and I saw them, and then I could save them if I wanted to, or I could screenshot them. People can print things if they want. Yeah, no, tech-wise, it was simple. Obviously, I didn't go to the Q&As where I guess it would have been a Zoom call, but I have had Zoom calls with Jeremy and Paloma, and they've been straightforward. If you have used Zoom before, I think they even give you help on how to get on that. So yeah, so my conclusion to the course is it's worth it. If you are having symptoms with Sjogren's, if you are lost with Sjogren's, if you need some support with Sjogren's, if you feel like you could do better with and want to know what you should be eating and not eating and how you should be cooking, and or if you need help with all sorts of anything and everything that Sjogren's brings us. Pacing, like I said, what to do with crashes, but what also to do not to get crashes as much. And I think that's it. I really hope this was helpful. Do ask any questions, because if you have any questions about the course, and if there are more than just one question, if a few people are asking, then I can do a video with Jeremy and Paloma, and we could answer those questions in that video, because obviously they can answer better than I can. So if you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments below, and we can do a video and answer your questions. And yeah, so let me know. I will give it maybe a week or two and see how many comments there are, and if there are enough comments, then we will do the video. If there aren't, then we won't do the video. And that's it. Sending everybody lots of love, and like I say, I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry it was a bit all over the place and I had to move, and it's just that I needed to get this out to you guys. It's been a few months that I've been wanting to do this. Sending you lots of love, and today is Friday. Wishing you a beautiful weekend, lots of comfort and joy. Lots of love. Bye bye.